Hi, I'm this cat, and you're watching The House of Loki. What you got to say about that, Thor? And before anybody asks, I have a completely working alibi. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. And from that to this, Chaos Cards, a reading that probably didn't have a lot to say about giant amounts of water falling from the sky. Hello friends, it's the Fortune Teller's Cat, and it is the Chaos Card reading for the week. We have the energies we bring from the past, the week as it is, and the future that we can take from it. Coming into this week, we are at balance. This is blue is the colour of night and the time before the dawn, a colour of romantic interests that must be tempered lest they become obsessions. In the previous week, we had seen that there was orange, the hunger, the passion. This perhaps is the signal that if what we are looking at has been around other people, that we should be in check on our relationships to ensure that they are what we are bringing to this week from our personal connections, from our personal commitments to others, is bringing us in balance, but also being mindful that change from balanced or reciprocal into something that's uneven, and this may not always be a bad thing, but it certainly should be tempered. The week as it is this week, exercise due care. Pink is the colour of triumph, of victory. Fallen opponents lamenting their mistake in challenging you. Strength, power, glory, and victory. This is a week of alliances. This is a week of being careful to ensure that successes that we have brought with us friendships, partnerships, and to ensure that those friendships and partnerships are feeling that they are in mutual success. Should we attain this, the energies coming out of the week are quite suggestive of success, a notable outcome in personal relationships. Perhaps someone has decided that they wanted to take on a friend of yours, to challenge a partner, to cause problems for someone in your family, and that your intervention at their behest and their request results in the careful intervention creates these outcomes. And now, the runes, who I strongly suspect did actually have something to say about giant amounts of water falling from the sky. The rune of the day is Urs. Urs representing rain, weather, and it's working a little too well at the moment for certain companies. Up next, cats react to unboxing. Oh, this one's for Warbeast. Alright, Beast, there you go. Hey. This has been Cats React to Unboxing. And now, from the road trip of cats comes the next big thing. I'm this cat, and this is the next big thing. Now that's a bloody beauty. This is a ginormous bloody great prawn out in the middle, well, not so much in the middle, outside of Bunnings in Ballina. It's about 2 hours drive from anywhere that I would call Brisbane. Giant prawn, looking like a giant prawn. So this qualifies. This qualifies as one of the things because, well, it's giant, it's a prawn, it's a size, it's a scale, it's over the top, and it's imposing. It's worth the drive. There is another big thing in Ballina, and I'm not convinced that it is actually worth the drive. Look, I'm not saying I'm not impressed by Ballina's attempt at a big pineapple. This is a pineapple of mildly unusual size. It's not a big pineapple. And that has been your judgmental cat on the road for the House of Cats in Ballina. My God, that prawn is subtle.
And now a word from our sponsors.
This sign won't stop me because I can't read. I think it says interesting things ahead. Tales from that cat. See, I told you got this week. This is Necessities. Necessities is my emergency office teddy bear. I'd gone to a lot of effort, I thought, to reassure students that, there was no monster at the end of the book. We weren't running the Grover Protocol. There wasn't going to be a, haha, surprise, evil. Largely because if there was going to be surprise, evil, I'd be boasting about it. I mean, that's my thing. So with that in mind, my students still didn't believe me. Look, it's one of the things we've come across in higher education for a little bit now is a lot of the time students have a very valid reason not to trust their lecturers. They have had past experience where a lecturer said, this will not be on the exam. Bang, this was on the exam. So they've run into me and I'm playing this as blunt and straightforward as I can. And so we have this big disconnect between student belief in what I was saying and what I was saying. But as part of that, I realized that students were getting really strung out. I brought Necessities into the play. This is the bear Necessities. During consultation times, if I got a teddy bear and put a teddy bear in my office, had it there, so when students were coming in to see me about this end of semester assignment that is stressing them out, if they need to, they can just hug the bear. Do you need to borrow the bear? And they just look at the bear and be like, nah, I'm okay now. The bear is there. I'm okay. This is the story of how I ended up with an emergency teddy bear in my office. And this is why the trebuchet list has a restriction on musical numbers.
The trebuchet list. Item 34. Prohibited object musicals and musical numbers. A cat may not own, operate, nor activate a musical. Clarification. A cat may not commission, write, produce, or star in a musical about that cat, their life, or this list, irrespective of musical numbers spontaneously happening around that cat. This turns out to be much more of a problem than you would imagine. Irrespective of musical numbers spontaneously happening around that cat, it is not to be encouraged by this, that, or the next cat.
And that was episode 7 of The House of Cat. And oi, cats, was that not as easy to put together as I was hoping. In no small part due to the fact that driving to Canberra, taking Warbeast and all the production equipment with me, not a bad idea. Terrible implementation, but a really good idea. It has been a complex week. Hi, I'm this cat, and now I've got that thing about musical numbers on the trebuchet list. This cat. Ah! But suffice to say, if you haven't done face-to-face workshops for 3 years, doing 5 of them in a week is a really interesting sensation. That sensation is also roughly equivalent to being met in a dark alley with a man with a sack full of live rabbits. It is interesting, but not one you want to do twice, and not one you want to do without preparation. In other news, we had the Chaos cards, we had the runes. Oh look, I'm going to admit, I just could not resist the temptation with the unboxing. A proper unboxing will return next week. And lastly, we had this cat on the road for the next big thing and the House of Cat. It has been this cat, it has been the House of Cat. Canberra mates, thank you for being generous hosts, for looking after this cat and looking out for me in the week I was down here. I will see you in the House of Cat, Official Cat Business, the sequel, later this year. Brisbane, I love you, I miss you, I'm on my way home.
And that was the House of Cat. Official cat business tour for season 1.
All I wanted was some fish and chips. I probably shouldn't have selected the al dente mode.